The wardrobe or customizations is a huge feature of the game. To keep it short, it allows us to look however we want while wearing our gear. There's a lot to go through, but I will have timestamps in the video if you are looking for a specific thing. With that being said, let's get right into it. If you're someone that's just returning to Runescape and forgot everything, or you're like a new player and you were like me when I first started, I was like, wait, how do people get all these cosmetic overrides? How do you set them? So the key is you have this ribbon menu here. Let me switch it to default one because usually if your default one, it will look like this. This is an event that's running, so it will look different here. But the most important part is customization. This is actually where you access your wardrobe or customizations tab. And that's where you can do all your fashion magic. Another way to do it is to go into settings, or if you want, you click escape and then go to settings. Oh yeah, go to controls and you have customizations here. You can actually keep by, oh, sorry, F12 doesn't work, F8. And now if I go click on F8, it would open up. And that's the easiest way to access your wardrobe. Okay, before I start talking about changing outfits, let's talk about the grid view and list view. So if you go click on these 4 squares, it will change it to grid view. So this might be something that you recognize if that's your default setting. And the list view will be showing what I have shown before, which is just a list of it. I personally like to use the list view, but whatever you wish to use, this is how you change between the list view and the grid view. Let's start with the simplest thing to do, changing your outfit and saving it to a preset. As you can see here, back if I go to the grid view, I have these 4 outfits that are already saved to my presets. So these are outfits I previously saved. But let's say I want to change my outfit, so I would just select the top piece like I did here. And I don't know, change something, select the hat, change that. Let's say I want to change my leggings, I just select that, click that. For shoes, click that, change my gloves, click that, cape, click that, I don't know. And I can even add wings, which I'm sure everybody loves. No, not really. But let's just say I'm doing that. And then now click apply here, which is how you change your outfit. Click apply, your outfit does change. And that's what it looks like in game. And let's say I want to save this outfit. I want to make sure I can access it again. So what I'll do is I'll go and save as preset. Let's just save it on dummy outfit. And then I click OK. When you save this, it will override it, so there's no going back. So make sure you are prepared to override it. And then you click OK. It should now override. So now if I click this, it should be this outfit. If I click dummy outfit, it should be this outfit. And there you go. That's how you save presets. Oh, and one more thing I want to mention. Right now I have this named dummy outfit, but let's say I want to rename it. All you gotta do is right click, select rename, and type in your new name. I'm just gonna type in some random name, I don't know. And yeah, there you go. And now it's renamed. And now when you also click save the preset, it will also show that new name. So this is the new name. I will talk about the very specifics on how these presets work and later on in the video, but for now, this is how you rename and save a preset. Okay, it's a new day and I want to talk about these filter options. So here is the Keepsake box, which I will talk about that later, but you can ignore that from now. And here we have the filter by head slot. But this, I would just ignore this because what I like to do is just click here instead. It will do the exact same thing. So I click on pendant, notice it changed to pendant. If I click on the top, it will change to top. Or if I want to see the full outfit, then I click on full outfit. And if I click on legs, then it'll go to legs, go to gloves, and go to gloves. So don't click it from here, click it from here. And for the advanced filter, what it does is if you want to see both the head and the aura at the same time, that's exactly what you can do with this. So I can click on this head and I can click on this aura and show it. But really what I use this for is mostly for weapons. So I mostly just want to see bows. So when I click on this, for example, I just see bows, even though I haven't selected this. But if I select this, it will show all the weapons. But if I select that, it will show all my bows. If I want to add more, like 2-hand crossbows, and that's exactly what it does. It adds a 2-hand crossbow, or it gives me a bow. That's what this advanced filter does. And now for this one, I just click on, for the sorting, let's start sorting. If I want to order by alphabetical order, then it will do exactly that. Now it's alphabetical order. Same with other slots and another slot. and weapons. And if I use the fence filter as well, it will also be in alphabetical order. But I like it keeping newest first because that's the way I understand it, so I'll change it back to newest first. And that's pretty much it. Okay, the same rule applies when you're also using the availability and source filters. So let's say I deselect everything. I just want to see the ones that I own and all the sources. Make sure you have everything here checked off, or you're not gonna see everything. And you only just mess with these two, in my opinion. So let's say all the bows I own, it will only show all the weapons I own, and it'll only show all the weapons I own because I have bows and 2 hand crossbows selected in my advanced filter. Same applies to full outfits, a specific piece, and all the ones here. If I want to show the ones I don't own, I can do exactly the same thing. It will show the ones that I don't own. And for these ones, this is kind of pointless in my opinion. I would just not touch this at all, unless you're looking for something very specific, so you can just turn them on or turn them off, and it only show you the ones that you earned from gameplay. So like there's some items here that I can earn from gameplay that I've unlocked, but this is unreliable, and I recommend my video here instead if you want to see the full list. And that's pretty much it. Same with the keepsake box. Like keepsake box is always going to be showing at the very bottom. Like let's say if I turn everything back on, it's always gonna be at the very bottom, but you can turn it off if you want. It just feels kind of pointless, but you can mess around with this, but that's how they work. It's pretty simple as that. And the same rule applies with filter as I mentioned before, so just keep that in mind. Oh, and don't forget searching. Searching is another thing. So if you look for Eastern, it will show me the outfits for Eastern. But if I'm just looking for a specific piece for Eastern, I can also do that, filtered by specific pieces. So notice there's no cape named Eastern, but there's a top that's named Eastern. Let's now talk about these settings over here. We have Recolor Outfit. I will touch the setting later. For now, I'm going to skip it. We have an Undo button here, a Clear All Customisations, and a Hide All Equipment. Let's focus on the Undo button first. Let's say you're making a change to your outfit. You click on this, you're like, oh, I don't want this. I want my original look back. Notice that when you make a change, the armor around is got a white highlight now. That tells you that you made a change to this outfit for this specific slot. And same if you apply here. And if you don't like both of these change, there's this simple undo button, or you can control click and it gives you the option to undo. But for now, I'm just gonna undo both of them, and I'll undo everything I've done. So anything you change without clicking apply will get undone by clicking this. But if I want to undo, let's say it's an individual slot, I can either hold control and click undo, or I can right click and click undo, and it will undo the change. But once you click apply, you can't undo anything, so you have to physically go find the cosmetic override that you changed and click apply. Okay, let's say you just want to remove every single override you have selected currently. So all I do is click this button, clear all my customizations, and it will show all the armor that I'm currently wearing. So my Death Lotus armor is going to be visible for everyone to see. And that's how you do it. Let me put on my outfit back. Let's say I want to do it for an individual piece. What I would do is, instead of clearing everything, I select the individual piece, I right click, clear customization, and it will show my Death Lotus. And if I take it off, it would change. But what if, let's say I wanna show my default clothing. You can click hide all equipment, and it will show that in my default clothing. But let's say I want to do it for a specific slot. Instead of doing that, I just click this, right click, hide slot, apply, and it will show default clothing no matter what armor I'm wearing. Oh, and another way to do it is you can also click the individual slot and click on hide leg slot, for example, and it'll also work as well. One thing I want to talk about is how overrides actually work. Notice that my character is actually not wearing a cape, yet I have a Woodland Archer's Quiver override showing. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a cape or not. What it does is, even if you're not wearing a helmet or a cape, it will still show whatever you have. Let's say I change it to this, it will show. And same the hat, if I was to hide it, I can also hide it. It's up to you, but you don't have to be wearing the specific item to show the override. However, this doesn't hold true for weapons. So let's say I go to my preset. Notice I'm supposed to have a bow equipped in this preset and click apply, but it doesn't work because I'm not actually wearing a bow right now. So if I was to click on this to wear a bow, then it will show the bow. But did you know I can also override this as a two-handed crossbow? Let's see, like this, and then when I attack, it will actually show I'm wearing a crossbow even though I'm wearing a bow. This is because how weapons actually work is not by weapon type, so it doesn't matter if it's a bow or... Okay, thanks Crackling. It doesn't matter if it's a bow or a two-handed crossbow. What matters is it a two-handed weapon? It's the same applies for melee weapons. For example, golden hammer is a two-hand weapon, but it looks like I'm wearing a giant scythe. And when I do the animation for the golden hammer, it looks like I'm using a scythe even though I'm not. And the same goes for throwing weapons. I can click on that, and it looks like I'm holding throwing weapons even though these are actually crossbows. And it's the same for magic, staff, but although these are less affected by these very specific things. And if I was to... But then there's one exception to this, Sun Spear. Even though it's a two-hand weapon, it's actually a throwing weapon, so it uses a one-handed crossbow, which is the only weird one I can find. So that's the only exception to this rule. And weapons you can attack with will not get overridden by anything, so this also includes offhand skilling hands, so there's nothing that overrides that, so you can't override that with anything. And let's say we go to the advanced filter. Notice how it all says like all these type of weapons. In reality, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is it a two-hand weapon? So once again, if I was to click golden hammer, I can even change this to a two-hand sword if I wanted, and it will work because it's a two-handed melee weapon. So just keep that in mind. Daisy shot with a one-handed weapon. It looks kind of weird, but it works. Next, I want to talk about recoloring. So this button over here, as I previously mentioned, what it does is it allows you to recolor everything that is recolorable. For example, let's say I want this pink. I can just click my pink dye and it will change it all to pink. If I go red, it will change it all to red. And all I have to do is click apply, and notice even my shoes, top, bottoms are all red now. But some stuff are not recolorable, as you might. So let's click winter sports trousers. Oh wait, bad example. Click this one. This one does not have recolor option. So if you right click this, even if I select this, it doesn't have. But if you right click this one, it will have a recolor option. So this is how you can change like the colors individually. But then for the ones where you don't get that option, it means you can't recolor them. Let me just undo all these changes. And that's pretty much it. Now, there's also Prismatic Dyes, which is something you can purchase from the Solomon store over here. And this allows you to set your own dyes. Now, if you have set these dyes before, you probably know what you're doing. But if you want to change any of these dye slots, you can right click one of them and click change. And this allows you to select different dye colors. You can also test them too. Test them before you choose to change the colors. Now, I'm not going to change any of my prismatic dyes. You just select, it will ask you, oh, do you want to change it? And it will replace the current dye. But it does allow you to preview. So there's another dyeing system that's different from the rest. So I'm going to look up the outfit Peppermint. So this only applies to very specific cosmetics. So Peppermint is one of them, and Winter Scarf is another. These are from the Christmas event. I think the Completion Capes also uses the same system, but I don't have it, so I can't test it here. So notice that these very specific colors, if I was to click on Recolor, the interface is not the same. You have a way more customizable color. So if I click on this, notice that I can adjust the colors in a more detailed fashion than with Prismatic Dyes. So if I was to click Accept, the color will change automatically, and even if I click X, it doesn't undo the color changes I made. If I click Done, it doesn't undo the color changes I made. So keep that in mind when you change the colors. You can also save them on top of a preset, which will replace it. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to do that. And I can also click Load to load a previous color, and that will load up. But when you load it, it also saves it too, so it replaces everything that you've been using before, so keep that in mind. There are also some custom presets that you can use that were built in, so if I change to this, the funny thing about this one is it doesn't reflect the change. Like if I click X here, oh wait, it does reflect the change, so never mind, ignore me, ignore what I said there. And the same applies for the Winter Scarf. They will use the same colors here, but it's not the same. It's not linked to Peppermint, so the outfit will not change. But if you, let's say, recolor just the leggings, it will affect the entire outfit. So if I change this, it affects the entire outfit. So let's say I was to recolor this, and I change this to like this color. Even if I didn't click apply, so if I was to close this and I clicked undo, that I don't want that. But if I click on the peppermint outfit again, the colors already changed. So I know it might be difficult to understand, but just think of this as its own separate thing. And this is, no matter what you do here, the changes are final. It doesn't matter if you click apply or not. Okay, we can change our outfits, but how do we change our hairstyle? All you have to do is click on appearance, and now you have a list of hairs that you can change. You can just select whichever you want. You can even change the color of them if you want. And you can click this to undo any changes you made. If I go to premium hairstyles, most premium hairstyles, or most of them, should have a secondary color. And you can also change the secondary color. So let's say I change this to pink. If I want to change the primary color, I just click this button and I can change that. So these two lets you choose between secondary and primary. You can also access the Makeover Mage here if you want, which allows you to change your skin or gender. And here, this option over here, toggle chat head, will basically just let you show the entire character or let you just show the head. So I want to talk about something very important. Oh, it's about the presets and what it actually saves. So obviously it will save like the cosmetics you have selected, but there is an issue. Let's say your winter scarf here is red, but if I have to click on my Wings of Absurdity outfit, it's supposed to be green, but it's red. So let me just go change that back to what it was supposed to be. So I have this preset, I'll use that. But now if I click this outfit, now this also green. So one of the few things it doesn't change is this dye system for like the winter scarf, and it will be the same for peppermint. Another thing it doesn't change is, let's say if I go to this, my hair is supposed to be orange here, but it's black. And then this one's also black. But let's say I change my hairstyle or even the color to like soft punk. And now if I click on this, it doesn't reflect the change I made. So the preset will not save your current hairstyle, which is a bummer. Saving presets with your weapon equipped is also very awkward. So let's say for example, my current preset Hooded Archer Master has a different bow selected. So if I was to click apply, it would change my bow override, no problem, right? But let's say I go to my golden hammer and I have this big sword and I save it to this one, right? And now it's a big sword. So now if I was to open this preset, it would be using the big sword. But let's say I switch back to my bow and then I change the bow back to something else. So boogie balls, for example. But now if I was to load the previous preset, which had a completely different bow, but right now it's showing the sword, if I was to click apply, it doesn't actually change the bow I'm using because it will only change it if it detects the sword. Even if you saved your preset that had a completely different weapon override, when you swap weapons, you might have to change the weapon override again. Instead of going through every one of them, I'll just display what it will save and what it will not save in the video. Another thing you can do from the wardrobe, and I'm mentioning this just in case, is you can actually buy outfits from the wardrobe instead of entering someone's store or the marketplace. I can actually just buy this, and I can just click purchase, and I can click confirm, and it will actually buy from here without needing to access the Solomon store. Let's talk about the Keepsake system. You can think of it as like a custom transmog system for items in-game. For example, let's say I have this Dragon Rider body. I have this Keepsake, which means I can use it as a cosmetic override. And I have one, you're limited to 100 Keepsake slots, I have one left. And when you Keepsake something, some items, it lets you place it in, but it'll create a copy of it so you get to keep the item. While some items like the modified helmet does not, it will actually place it, you won't get a replica, so keep this in mind. You also cannot Keepsake items. Let's say you can't attack with this weapon because this is not an attackable weapon, so you actually can't Keepsake this. It will tell you that it cannot be put in the Keepsake box. For the modified helmet, you know, I have another modified helmet. I have this in my Keepsake box, but now the issue is I can't get one back. I can't even reclaim it from the angle, so that's just something you should keep in mind. And to remove a Keepsake, all you gotta do is go to your Keepsake slot, the one you want to remove. Let's say this one. You can click reclaim, and since this is a replica item, you will not get the item back. You will not get your Keepsake key back, but you will get your slot back. while if for the items that were not created with replicas, you will actually get the item back. So another interesting thing about the keepsake system is I currently have the chick scarf keepsake and the cupid halo keepsake. These are items that have a little different form and you can change the color or the form of it. For example, let's undo what I did here. And I changed the color to red. And I changed this form. Now, when I look up chick scarf, it's red. And if I look up, what's this called? Crown of the Fallen, it reflects the change. A very weird issue with keepsake augmented items. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably experienced it. I was not able to replicate it, but basically when you keepsake an augmented item, it might complain that you don't have this item keepsake, which means you can't use it as an override. The first fix to that is to keepsake a non-augmented version of it, but for some people that's not practical, especially if it's dyed. So what you can do is go into settings, type in cog, and mess around with this setting over here. Depending on how you keepsake that item, this might fix the issue you have. However, if you run into an issue where changing your items disables all your overrides, then this might not work either. So what you do is if the item is dyed and augmented, you can actually disassemble the augmented version of the item to get the unaugmented dyed version of the item back. But make sure when you do it, you check to see if it tells you if you'll get one back. This is a very risky thing to do, and I understand the fear of doing it. Use this at your own discretion if this is something you want to risk. And also, if one of those options did fix the issue for you, make sure you save the preset again. There's also another weird issue with the Santa suit. I recommend checking out what I wrote here if you want to see if this can help fix the issue. Let's now talk about scale and tool animations. So we open up our customizations, go to animations, go to scale and tool animations. For wood cutting, notice that I have a bunch of wood cutting animations that I can enable. But for now, let's just say I click on chop on bamboo. I'm going to be using the default one, which I'm sure everybody here recognizes. So if I want to change that, I just have to go in here, click on roundhouse. Let's say I want to kick it, I can click apply, or I can click on deactivate to disable it. I don't know what revert does, but the revert feels really redundant. But apply, and I click apply, or I click revert, it doesn't do anything. So that revert button is something you should just ignore. But let's deactivate that. And then we go to roundhouse, and now when I click on it, click. Now it's dead click. Click on it, now I'm kicking it. But another cool thing that works is if I was to go roundhouse, and then strong arm, and then lumberjack. Now when I click to woodcut, dead click, I would kick it, strong arm it, and then chop it. So it goes in the order of when you activated the skill and tool overrides. This does not hold true for every of them though. So let's say for divination, I have this one, and I have this one. When I click on this one, I'm using my hands for the energy. But I have to click it again for it to change. So some of them only register the animation change when you click on it again. And for resting animations, the order should still be in the order of when you activated it. So for example, if I was to activate this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now if I click rest, it should be the first one, the Wushenga Warrior one. Yep, it's the Wushenga Warrior one. And the next one should be Death Lotus Meditate. Yep. And the next one should be T. And then it will rotate back to the first one. But for combat animations, there is no order. It's all random. I also want to talk about teleporting, which is located in spout animations. So I'm going to activate this one. The preview will show you the non-quick teleport version of it. What do I mean by non-quick teleport? So we go into the lodestone teleport. if we check this off, now we use the slow teleport. So if I was to go to Edgeville, notice that I am doing the slow teleport. Not every teleport will have a quick teleport, so Warrior's Retreat is considered a quick teleport, and notice I use the default one because Ozone Teleport does not have a quick teleport. But let me activate one that does. So for example, Crow Taxi has a quick teleport, and Hedge Teleport has a quick teleport. So now if I was to activate Quick Charge and click Edgeville, then it will use the quick teleport. And it would go in the order of the ones that have quick teleport. So Hedge, and then Crow again. Very simple. And the max skill teleport actually does not have a quick teleport option. So notice that when I click on it, it doesn't use any quick teleports I have activated. I don't know why it does, and for some other ones it has the same issue. But there is a specific one, like Sky Jump Teleport, that does work with the max skill teleport. And if I was to use it, it uses it. So you're just gonna have to play around which one works with max skill teleport, which one has a quick teleport, and which one does not. I also want to talk about walk animations. So how walk animation works is only one can be activated at a time. All I gotta do is select another one, click apply, and it will activate and select the new walk animations. Or if you want to turn off walk animations completely, I just gotta click deactivate and my walk animation is turned off completely. Some walk animations look different when they're sheathed or unsheathed or with different weapons. I recommend checking out my walk animation video for that. One more thing to talk about for animations, and this also applies to appearance, titles, and pets. But in the animation tab, if I was to click this button over here, this will actually filter the ones that I don't own and only show the ones I own. And clicking here again will all show both owned and unowned ones. Next, I want to talk about titles. It's very simple. I already talked about this filter function, but some of the titles like have a difference between Lord and Lady, for example. I can change this to Lord, or I can use this to change to Lady. So only the ones that are very specific with like a slash or like this, it will have a change. The ones that don't have that option, they are not affected. And finally, let's talk about pets. So I want to start with these override and override legendary pets options. So right now I have a legendary pet summon, which is currently overridden by a pet called Felix. And this Felix has like other customizations where I can customize its armor and also the look of it. But some pets don't have this option. Some pets are very simple. But no, when you uncheck this, then it will revert back to its original form. But if I wanted to override it again, like all I gotta do is find it and select the option to override it. And when you, let's say you want to do something else, let's say you want to do this one, when you select the option to override it, then it will actually override it. So it will actually deselect what I previously selected. So in order to select that back, I have to override it again. The only pets that you cannot use to override are follower pets. Everything else from legendary, companion, boss, and skilling pets can override your pet or a summoned familiar. So if I was to dismiss my legendary pet and summon a familiar, it will also be overridden by this one. And pets that you can recolor, let's say for example Drakefire has a different color. If I was to override this familiar, it will show up green, but if I was to change the color to red and click accept, it will change it to red. So just a neat little feature that you can use to change the color of some of your pets. Let's talk about this weird feature called add a summon cycle. So basically, let's say I want to summon this and I just want to summon this. If I was to dismiss my pet, summon it again, it would summon my Drakefire Warship, which is the first one I selected. And if I was to summon it again, it would summon this one. And if I was to dismiss it and summon it again, it will summon that one. So it's basically the order, a controllable order that you can set up just like in the animations. But this feature is just kind of pointless, not gonna lie. So I would not touch this feature at all. Don't even use it at all. And just stick to the one that you want to use. For me, it's just the legendary pet. And I just override whatever I want. A couple of closing things to talk about. If we go into the settings, and we go to graphics, if we change this to min, like the lowest quality of all, it does change the look of our cosmetic outfits. So if you're playing this in low resolution, it will affect what the cosmetics look like. I made a video on this, but this also applies to the Devourer aura. So if I set this low, it's more visible. If I set this Ultra Plus, it's less visible. And that wraps up my guide. If there's any questions you may have, feel free to ask in the comments. If this helped you, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.